Chad Kroeger from Nickelback.
Chad, it is an honor to talk to you, man.
It's an honor to talk to you, too.
Listen, I'm a massive fan, so let me just say, if I geek out, please just allow it for a second, because I've never spoken to you, and I feel like I've done some pretty cool interviews, but I've been a fan for a long time, and that's all. I said it. I'm a fanboy out, and I'm going to turn into the professional that I am, the professional broadcaster I am. So I'm a big Nickelback fan, have been for a long time. What's your best song?
What's your best song?
Yeah, what's your best song? I like them all, Chad. I'll be honest with you. What's your favorite song?
Favorite song of mine?
Yeah. Which one do you like to sing the most? Because I like singing, "This is how you remind me."
You really?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. What's your favorite one to play?
It depends. It depends. It's if the crowd is, really into the show, Burn It to the Ground at the end is always, going to bring the house down. Sometimes I'm into something more melodic and subdued, and sometimes I just want to sing lullaby, to the crowd with Ryan playing the piano. It changes. It really does every single night.
Was there ever a time, because you guys are pretty hard, was there ever a time when you guys had massive commercial success where they were like, "Yo, dude, do more pop hits," and you're like, "No, we want to stay true to who Nickelback is," and there was ever some sort of like philosophical issue with the label or management?
No. I mean, that again is just sort of whatever mood strikes you. If it's 1 p.m. and you're in the studio and it's a beautiful day, blue sky, sunshine, and it's going to be hard to do a heavy tune. Now, if it's 11 o'clock at night and the bottle of Jack has already been cracked, you're not really going to want to do a pop tune. You're going to want to crank up the distortion, and you're going to want to do some screaming into a microphone. So,
whenever you guys broke hard with How You Remind Me, because I was working at a station called KLAZ at the time. We played pop, the big pop station, hip-hop, rock, all the good stuff there. And that song kind of launched and changed music. It just generally changed what pop was sonically. What is it like to put out a song and it becomes so big so fast? Do you feel it change around you, or are you just on the road so much that you don't really notice until later?
I guess I only get to refer to that one because that was our sort of, that's the biggest song we had up to that point. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of, because we were on the road. I mean, we've been on the road solid for 20 years, right up until COVID. So it was, we would get all these sort of like calls. You get a call from your manager, you get a text, you might get an email or something like, "Hey, you guys are, you're number one in Australia today." It's like, "Oh, that's amazing." "Hey, you guys are number one in Germany today." And you get that sort of stuff. But that doesn't really register until you get to those countries and you show up, and then there's all these people just singing the words to this tune back to you. And I think more so for me, I just became really recognizable. Like, I couldn't go anywhere without people just like, "Oh my God, that's the dude from Nickelback." So that part was definitely weird.
Was it a tough decision to cut your hair because you were so recognizable for your hairstyle?
No, I just felt like, I just kind of felt like there was so many hipsters that started growing their hair long. I didn't want to be confused for one. No, I'm kidding. No, it was, I cut my hair probably it was just consistent. It was continually getting shorter and shorter anyway. It was longer and curly, and then I kind of went up to the chin, and then I think the girl I was with at the time was like, "You should straighten it." Oh, that was just a bad idea. So then I started straightening, and then it was like really blonde, and I looked like a weird Ken doll sort of thing. It was funky. And then I was like, I'm sick of this. Let's just get rid of it and make it sort of just spiky and just very bedheadish.
What's cool about TikTok is that I feel that, and maybe just because I like you guys so much and I get a lot of pro Nickelback videos, that I feel like TikTok's kind of embraced you guys for being awesome. Do you feel that with TikTok?
I think TikTok may have embraced us. I don't know if they've embraced us for being awesome. I definitely see some love on there. I'm on TikTok a decent amount. It's fun, scrolling through the videos and stuff. And I'll get the same sort of thing, but it's the modern version of it instead of calls and text and emails. Now I get all the stuff from our management team, like check this out. Should we respond to this guy? And should we DM this girl? And that sort of stuff. But I guess I shouldn't have used all those pronouns. That's one thing I've learned from TikTok.
I hope you don't think I'm being ironic. I'm just a massive fan. I don't know if you think I'm too. Do you think I'm too fanboy, Chad? Because I feel like you're laughing because I'm coming off as a little goofy here, and I don't mean to be.
No, I'm laughing at myself.
Okay, good.
I'm very self-deprecating.
Okay.
And I think it's I think a lot of the things about our career are funny. I really do. You see, every time we go for a photo shoot, there's the four of us goofing around and just being, four idiots. And they take all these pictures of us, and then they're like, okay, now just give us one with some attitude, guys. Okay, let's knock off the smile and let's just get, one serious one. And then they always use that picture.
That's
you got
the
these
one.
Four guys just look like they're taking themselves so seriously, and we're not. And anybody who's ever met us or any one of us knows we're just jackasses. But every time there's a picture out there, it's the four of us just like, look at us, we think we're so cool, and it's just such a horrible misrepresentation of the four of us.
Do you feel, and I bet you could talk to other artists in the same capacity, they got so big, because when it comes to songs and artists who have sold the most and played the most, like Nickelback did it all for the 2000s, like most played, most sold, over and over again. What is it like? Because my goal has always been to be so popular that there starts to be a backlash because you're so popular. Like, when does that start? Like, at what stage of popularity did that start happening?
I want to be so big that everyone on the planet absolutely detests.
What?
I don't think that's ever been a motto that's gone around the four of us. I think it happens. I think it happens with anybody. It happens with anybody in any capacity. Just absolutely anything. Like, look at Elon Musk. He's like, I want to save the planet. Let's make, electric vehicles. And I think that we're overpopulating the planet. So let's figure out a way to get to Mars. And suddenly the guy's worth like $280 billion. And he's like, I want to save all these kids that are stuck in a cave. And everyone's like, stay in your lane. It's like, build electric cars and get us to Mars, you moron.
Yeah, you moron. That's right, Elon Musk getting backlash.
Yeah.
All he's wanted to do was change the world. So right now, Chad Kroeger's on from Nickelback. Whenever I hear Rockstar, the thing that sticks out to me most is I'll have the quesadilla. Is that ever said back to you? At a restaurant. At a restaurant. You go and you're like, I'll have, and they go, you'll have the quesadilla?
Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top is the one who says all those little ad-lib parts in between. And I don't think I've ever had it said back to me, but it was funny. I was getting him to play a guitar solo on the first song on that record, All the Right Reasons. The song is called Follow You Home. And he's like, let me hear what else is on the record. What do you got? And I said, because we just brought a drive with us down to L.A. for him to do the solo. I'm like, what else? I don't know what's on this drive. What else have we got here? And they're like, oh, we've got Rockstar. Will you play it? I said, yeah, play it. So we played it, and the first thing he said was, I want to hear it again. And I didn't know what that meant. Like, I wasn't really sure. Like, so then we played it again, and he just goes, that's a hit. And I was like, wow, that's, it's a hell of a vote of confidence coming from Billy F. Gibbons. And I was like, oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Then he wouldn't stop. He just kept going. Like for 5 minutes straight, he's like, that song's going to be huge. It's going to be a hit. It's going to be a hit. And I finally just went, do you want to be on this tune? And he's like, I would love to be on this tune. I said, okay, well, why don't we, let's find a spot for you here. So what about every time I sing a line, you come up with something and you're just going to say it back to me in sort of this, like, in a classic Billy voice. And a couple of them were direct call answers. Like they really made sense in the beginning. It's like, so what you going to do? Like, so how are you going to do it? So tell me what you want. Like that sort of stuff, right? That all made sense with the next line. By the time we got to the second verse, then he just kind of went on his own. And when he spit out, I'll have the quesadilla. I'm like, that's staying in. That stays.
Wait, are you telling? Okay, I didn't know this. Are you telling me that's Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top doing the ad lib?
All of them. Yeah.
I had no idea. Did you know that?
No.
I didn't know
No
that.
clue.
No.
And I consider myself a fan. I guess I'm not as much of a fan as I thought. I've just been schooled in Nickelback. This is awesome. Okay. I want to mention a couple things here. First of all, we played San Quentin on this show, and I think the song's awesome, or I wouldn't have played it on the show. So I hope you guys check out San Quentin from Nickelback. The new single is Those Days. Ray, can you play me a little bit of Those Days? Here we go.
We do it back in those days. We'd be turning up the stereo and playing everywhere we go.
Is that like a 1 p.m. song? There's a little heart in there. It's not so distorted there, Chad.
That's a 4 p.m.
Okay.
4 p.m.
Yeah. Don't really know the difference 1 and 4, but I'm feeling it. I got it.
Yeah. For that song. So sometimes when we're feeling a little stagnant when it comes to the recording process, we'll go and we'll just like rent a house somewhere. And we've kind of done this all over the world. We didn't want to go too far for this one, so we just rented a place up in Whistler because 3 out of the 4 of us live in Vancouver. And so we rent this house up in Whistler, and we're going to go up there, and a lot of times it's just to get away from everything, like the other guys to get away from their wives and kids, and me just to get away from whatever the hell I'm doing. And so we go up there, and we've got this mindset, like, okay, so we need another rocker for the record, so let's go up there and write a rocker. So we get up there, and we set up the studio in the basement. And the first night, I start pissing out with this melody, and I kind of stumble onto a little bit of the verse melody. And then the next morning, we all wake up, and we're sitting there with our coffees, and I said, remember when the street lights came on and we had to be home? And it was like, yeah, that's a super universal thing. I'm like, no. That's the first line of the song. And then we just go down, why don't we just like remember when, and we just go straight back to when we were growing up. And then that was just a ton of fun at that point in time. It was just all the stuff that we used to do. Once you've got a direction like that, it really is a ton of fun because everybody starts chucking out all these ideas of the things that you used to do. Like, when was the last time you saw 2 kids doubling on a bike? Because I haven't seen that.
I haven't either.
In a lot of times. Because we had a line in there about like doubling down to the mall or something like that. Like, there was so many things that I just haven't seen in so long. And stuff like Star 69. You don't have to star 69 anymore because it just comes up on your cell phone. So there's just a ton of those things where it's so funny because our guitar player, Ryan Peake, his daughter's in the car with him, and she looks over and she says, why do you say roll up the window? And she caught him off guard. He just kind of had to look at her. He was like, oh my God, it's so weird that I have to explain this to you.
Time marches on. You know what I mean? Time marches on. The album, Get Rollin', comes out November 18th. It's their 10th studio album. 2 final questions. Eddie, what is your question for Chad?
Yeah, Chad, do you know what concert costs 45 cents?
Oh, my God. Are you doing this?
See if he knows it.
Oh, my gosh.
What concert cost 45 cents? It's got to be something along the lines of Nickelback opening up for 50 Cent.
Hey! 50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
Yeah.
That's the one question you wanted to ask?
I wanted to know if he'd heard his own jokes. Like
that one.
Like that one. And I guess he had.
No, I just I just did a little math there.
Mm-hmm. That's your
Wow.
question?
I have one more.
Okay.
So Chad, have you ever had anyone come up to you and say, "Hey, the first time I heard Nickelback, I just wasn't a fan. I didn't like it. But the more I listened to the music, now, I mean, it's so good. Now I'm a huge fan." Have you ever heard that?
No, it's the opposite. God, when I first heard your tunes, it was great, but now I hear you guys so much on the radio, I want to strangle you.
Oh man,
That's the goal. That's
that
the
good
goal.
problem
To
to
be
have.
overplayed. That's the
Yeah.
goal,
All right.
man. Okay. Our final question, Chad, is this, and I think it's the one that most of our audience wanted to know: is what was on Joey's head?
It was a champagne killer, and it looked.
Champagne.
It looks like a mini version of the Stanley Cup, if you know what the
Pillar,
Stanley
like
Cup
what
looks
you
like.
put champagne in.
Oh, what
I
you
think.
put
Is it the
champagne in.
tin, the bin you put champagne in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it looks like a trophy.
Yeah.
And that's what was on Joey's head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody just stuck it on his head, and then I got in there for a picture, and my buddy Rob was actually in the picture as well. And somebody cropped him out. It's like they cropped him out, and then they gave me the picture like framed for Christmas. And then when I spit out that line referring to the picture, and the song went on to be what the song was, which is Photograph. He was so mad. He's like, I was in that picture, right?
Oh yeah, that sucks.
I'm like, no, actually, I don't remember, Rob. He's like, you can see my fingers steadying the champagne chiller on Joey's head. Like, my fingers are still in the picture. Like, I had no idea, Rob. And I had no idea that it meant that much to you. But the funny thing about that song is now when we're on stage and I go to introduce it, I'm like, for anybody born after the year 2000, this next song is called Graph.
And
Just look at this graph.
look at this graph.
Graph.
That's right. Because there's
Yeah,
no
and then that crowd just loses it. They all start laughing, and then everyone else who doesn't really get it, you can tell they're like in their 50s, and they're like, and I go for everybody else. This song's called Photograph.
Which was half this room, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I
half
was confused.
Hey, Chad, I'm a big fan. Looking forward to the album. Again, the album Get Rolling comes out November 18th. The new single Those Days is out now. We played Sam Quentin here on the show. I appreciate the time and just your generosity here with us, and hope you have an awesome weekend, and looking forward to someday meeting you in person.
I would love that. Thank you guys for taking the time. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope your show blows up so big.
Yep.
It becomes so massive. And
Boom.
you become syndicated on
Yes.
every single radio station on the planet.
Already there.
And then and then you get to the point where the backlash happens.
Already have it. I'm the
So
same.
you're there.
We're already there. That's why I was looking
well,
for someone to relate to, and then
There you go.
Yeah, he didn't even know who I was, so I guess we're not that popular. All right, there he is, Chad Kroeger, everybody. Thank you, Chad. Have a great day, man.
You too.
All right, see you,
Steve.
buddy.
It's about